All right. 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 What is good? What is good? What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, you know who I is, the good doc, Dr. Mike, back again, once again, with another classic, interesting live stream for you guys today. Like I always say, sincerely hope everybody is blessed, having a good one. Doc is having a great one. Unfortunately, this is one of the more unfortunate stories for me to cover, but definitely I want to give you guys some insight on what's going on here in the Philippines as we speak in reference to that 6.4 magnitude earthquake that just hit the country not too long ago. Again, guys, make sure you subscribe, notify, guys. Make sure you get the likes up on the video. On this live stream, I'm sorry. Caress, molest, and distress yourself. You know what the game, you know what I asked for. You know what the game requires. So please feel free to do so. Give me about a split second. I'm going to take care of something. I'll be back in like 2 seconds. All right, guys, my apologies. I had to plug in my laptop, okay? Gentlemen, ladies in the chat right now, this is probably one of the more unfortunate things that we have to take care of. You know, the good doc is always about making sure his foreigners are prepared for just about everything that he possibly can. I always try my best to prepare my fellow travelers for, worst case scenarios and worst case situations whenever you come to the Philippines. You know what we do. 9 times out of 10, if the doc is putting together a topic, it's about how not to get scammed, how to deal with Filipinas, things like that, and these are common questions and concerns for your average foreigner. But what we really talk a little bit about, and what we really need to start talking more about, is dealing with these natural disasters in the Philippines. People, these natural disasters can fuck you up too. Sorry, pardon my language. They could ruin you, no different than a Filipino or getting scammed would. All right, now many of you guys have heard, but I'm going to read you this article real quick. Let me give you the copy paste post so that you guys know where I'm reading from. Just give me a split sec. I'll give you the copy and paste post so that you guys can read the article if ever you choose to do so. But here it goes, man. It says a strong quake leaves 1 dead, dozens injured in the Philippines. It says in Davao City, Philippines, a powerful and shallow earthquake hit several southern Philippine provinces on Wednesday night, leaving at least 1 person dead, injuring more than 2 dozen and collapsed houses and prompting thousands to scramble out of their homes. Shopping malls, hospitals, you name it, they were evacuating everything, all right? The U.S. Geological Survey said that it was a magnitude of 6.4. I don't know if you've ever felt the magnitude of a 6.4 earthquake, but ladies and gentlemen, it feels like the ground is literally about to come apart. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it feels like the ground is literally gonna quake apart, man. I mean, it's a scary thing. I'm not gonna lie. It was centered about 8 kilometers from Colombia, a landlocked town in the coastal province of Sultan Kudarat. The earthquake had a depth of about 14 kilometers. Shallow quakes tend to cause more damage than the deeper ones. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. And people are really scared of the aftershock of this particular earthquake. I mean, they're really scared of what could happen with aftershock. I mean, you pretty much get that general synopsis after every earthquake, but for this one, seemed a little bit stronger than all of the other ones that have ever hit the Philippines. And I'll tell you some earthquake stories after I finish reading this particular article. It says several relatively strong aftershocks, like I said, were felt, and officials ordered classes to be suspended Thursday to allow inspection of school buildings in the quake hit areas, including Davao City, where the president is from. Sorry, guys. And also in the capital. They said that the president was in the capital when the earthquake struck. Okay. Some areas lost power due to the earthquake, hampering immediate and detailed inspection of possible damages. Okay. Fire broke out in a shopping mall in General Santos City shortly after the quake hit, but it was unclear whether it was sparked by the trembles or the timblers. I don't know what the hell that word is. I'm sorry. He said a girl was hit by a collapsed wall in a house and died in Datu Paglas town in Maguindanao province. They're talking about the vice mayor of North Cotabato said patients were evacuated at the hospitals to ensure their safety during and after the earthquake. There's a lot to read here. I'm just going to run through the talking points. In the farming town of Magsaysay, More than 20 villagers were injured by falling objects in their homes and the ground, as the ground was shaking. The quake knocked out power in Kiripawan. This is all in the Mindanao, southern Philippine area. So this is my shit. So yeah, it is nothing to play with. One of the world's most disaster-prone countries is the Philippines, and it has frequent earthquakes, volcanic activities because it lies on the so-called Pacific Ring of Fire. Interesting. A seismically active arc of volcanoes and fault lines in the Pacific Basin. Magnitude of 7.7 quake killed nearly 2,000 people and collapsed buildings in 1990. Ladies and gentlemen, this is nothing to play with, okay? I talk a lot. I talk more than my fair share of nonsense when it comes to these live streams. And, I have my fun, and I definitely have you guys on to participate in the nonsense sometimes, and it's fun. But in this particular situation, this is nothing to play with, guys. This ain't nothing to play with. It's just another thing for us foreigners to have to be prepared for. You never know when an earthquake's going to hit, because it's not like a hurricane or a typhoon where they kind of have meteorologists that tell you in advance that this stuff is coming. So you kind of have a way to prepare yourself that this is coming. Earthquakes don't really have what I like to call a alarm that goes off and allows people to know, okay, this earthquake is going to hit you at this particular time. It's going to hit in this particular region at this particular time. You don't get that. All you know is that you might be in your dead sleep, having a good sleep. Next thing you know, buildings are starting to shake, all kinds of shit, bro. Stuff falling out of your house, breaking glass. You over here tripping because you don't know what to do. One of the scariest experiences I've ever had in my whole entire life. It was an earthquake from a couple of years back. I can't remember what year it was, but I was with my dad in Manila, or I was in a condo in Manila. And some of you guys may know, some of you guys may not know this, but I live on the 34th floor in the condo. So can you imagine being on the 34th floor and you feel that building swaying back and forth? Like, dude, is this shit gonna topple over? You don't know, because you don't have enough time for you to run down some stairs to get out of a building. You don't have time for that. You can't take the elevator. You understand? So there's a lot to take into consideration, ladies and gentlemen, especially when it comes to this. And a more recent one, not this one, but the one that I experienced when I was in Davao previously, I think this was like last year, I was in a dead sleep. Next thing I know, I feel the building shaking. I hear people screaming outside, so I'm freaking out. And I'm going to be honest with you. I love Filipino people to death. I do. I love them to death. They're like my second people. But Filipinos have a tendency to be super, super dramatic, okay? And I mean, to an extent, they have a tendency to be over dramatic, okay? So can you imagine seeing a bunch of Filipinos running and screaming outside of their doors, going out into the, because if you guys remember, I stayed in this little condominium. I rented an AirBNB, and basically all of the condo doors were facing this, I want to call it like a place where you can sit and hang out. Like all of the condo doors, when you exit out, you can look down and you can look at all the other condo doors. So if you go outside that door, you're seeing a whole bunch of Filipinos running outside and running away and stuff like that. Shit got me freaked out. Right. So, I wake my girl up because we were asleep. And I'm like, yo, man, grab your shit and let's go. By the time we actually prepared ourselves to get out of there, because Doc wasn't going to leave behind his equipment, I had to make sure I got my bag and everything. I was going to run out of there in my damn boxer drawers and a sando and some flip flops, but I was going to have my laptop and everything that meant something to me if I was going to walk out. Make sure I have my passport and everything. But by the time I prepared all of that, it had already finished, right? So, in hindsight, that was one of the scariest experiences I ever had. But in this one that just passed, like there was this, like my girl got a message from one of her friends that stayed over in the Matina area in Davao City, if you guys know where Matina is. And there was this guy running around outside in the neighborhood telling everybody that a fucking tsunami was coming. He was literally yelling in the streets. You remember that old story about Paul Revere? Is that Paul Revere who traveled on his horse and was warning everybody that some people were coming? Trust me, my history is all jacked up. Don't kill the good doc for it. But you remember the Paul Revere story? He was riding his horse, warning people that shit was coming. So this guy was outside screaming at the top of his lungs that a tsunami was coming during this particular earthquake. So you can only imagine the panic people were feeling at that time. They're exiting their houses, running around, acting all crazy and stuff because they don't know what's going on. Like, for real. They're over here tripping and bugging and having like just they're panicking. Because you hear somebody saying a tsunami coming. Many of you guys know what a tsunami is, right? I'm pretty sure you're not stupid. I'm pretty sure you guys know about your natural disasters. That's when that water wall comes up and just like basically runs over the city and like just washes stuff away, right? So he was telling everybody that a tsunami was coming, scaring like the bejesus out of everybody, you know. And eventually, of course, it wasn't a tsunami. It was just like this earthquake. But a lot of people were upset about that as well, because you got to understand that's not something you play with. You can't outrun a tsunami, my friend. So, you hear these stories that were happening in different areas that I didn't experience myself, and then talking about what I personally experienced as it deals with earthquakes. I'm telling you guys, this shit's real. This ain't nothing to play with. All right. So, this is just something that I really want you guys to make sure that you are prepared for. I know this isn't everybody's topic or cup of tea topic, but this is just some real stuff, man. I've lived through and I have experienced a lot of natural disasters in the Philippines. Luckily, nothing has ever happened to my property personally. Nothing has ever happened to anything that my parents have ever owned. So I can't really say that I've experienced it and experienced the disasters, but I've seen the devastation that these typhoons, these hurricanes, these earthquakes, all of this stuff that happens in the Philippines. I've seen the end result, and I'm the type of person, I should encourage a lot more recycling than I do, but I've seen what happens when people don't recycle in the Philippines, guys. It's bad. Because what happens is, and I know this is a bit off topic, but work with me. What happens is the street drains, or these, the drainage system gets bad. It gets backed up. It gets stocked up. It gets really, really bad. I mean, I've seen it flood rain hard, and I've seen bridges flood out because the water has nowhere to drain. It rises, it rises, it rises, and it rises. And the main part is because the drainage system in the Philippines in most areas are all bad because they're all clogged. So I've seen what disasters can occur in the Philippines through my own eyes. And, as a foreigner, you won't know about it until you've seen it yourself. And I'm just telling you, this is something that I really feel that you guys need to take into consideration. You guys need to make sure that you are well prepared for the simple fact that things like this could potentially happen. As you heard in the article, they were talking about it being that the Philippines lies along this Pacific, the Pacific Ring of Fire or something like that. You read about that. That's the first time I've ever heard about it. I never really thought of it like that, but you hear about typhoons and all that stuff happening every single year about the same time. You hear about the same places being flooded out every single year about the same time, roughly October, September-ish. You hear about the rain falling down and places being flooded out. And what kills me about that, if I could talk about this for a split second, people tend to rebuild in those same areas. The areas that are naturally prone to flooding, their houses will completely flood out, but they will rebuild in the same place right after they cleared the space, they rebuild in the same place. One of the craziest things that I've ever had to experience in my whole entire life. I'm like, guys, you already know that there is a high percentage chance that if it rains hard the next time around, you're not going to have this house again next year. So be it. Again, we're talking more or less like the squatter areas for the most part, how you can really build a house quickly. But in hindsight, if you already know that you stand the chance of losing what you've apparently worked hard to get by rebuilding in the same place that's flood prone or earthquake prone or whatever you want to call it, I can't understand why people choose to rebuild in the same place. Again, I understand that some people may not be able to move financially. It's not always going to be a good move, but I understand that, when it comes to these earthquakes and these typhoons and these hurricanes and these natural disasters that naturally happen in the Philippines consistently now, this is something that I really feel like my foreigners need to know. You really need to be well informed about this stuff happening too. Like I said, we talk about all the times about how not to get scammed, by the taxis, how not to get scammed by a Filipino. We talk about all of the other things that you could prepare for, worst case scenarios when dealing with other human beings. But we never talk about the natural disasters that actually occur in the country. You've got to be careful about the place that you choose to live in when you come to the Philippines, because this shit can happen to you. Nobody's immune to it. You understand? Nobody's immune to it. Okay. So this has been a good doc talking this nonsense. I hope that you guys enjoyed this particular live stream topic today. If you did, 25 watching, I would appreciate all 25 of y'all getting the likes up on this video. Y'all know the rules. Make sure you caress, molest, and de-stress yourself all over that like button. It wants it, it needs it, it most definitely has to have want to purchase your copy of The Foreigner's Guide to Tricking and Treating in the Philippines, please make sure you hit me up in the email. All you got to do is tell me, Doc, I have got to have that Foreigner's Guide to Tricking and Treating in the Philippines. All of my other stuff is listed in the links in the description area below. Anything else you should need to know or anything else you're interested in, emails, other ebooks, and Patreon class, the master class, which is awesome, by the way. All of that stuff is listed in the links in the description area below. Now, it's game time, people. Let me go ahead and run through this chat real quick because that's what I do. Shout out to my boy Tim. What's going on with you? I see Terry in the building. I appreciate you coming through. My boy NY Mets fan. Frederick Mason from the great state of North Kakalaki. What's good, Mr. Smith? Mr. Pissed Off Driver. Stop, dropping, and rolling. In this particular situation, probably not a good idea. Stop, dropping, roll your ass out the house or some shit like that. Not a good look, bro. Mr. Smith says we're getting ready to travel to Jensen now to check on family members. Please, I pray that they are safe, my brother. I do. I pray that the family is safe out there because Jensen was definitely a hard-hit area as well. Davao City felt it, and they felt it good. So I know Jensen felt it just as good. You know, a 6.4 magnitude ain't nothing to play with. Again, if you guys want to check out the article, it is listed right here. My boy Elgos, what's good with you, man? My boy Zay Baker, he said, bro, I'm planning on coming to Davao this month, and I'm kind of shook about this. Zay, this is not a common occurrence, man. I'm not gonna sit here and say this shit happen every day. It's not something that happens every month, but I definitely want you to be on alert that things like this do happen. I mean, natural disasters happen all over the world. I mean, you can't really prepare for that stuff. Like I said, it's hurricanes and typhoons and all of that stuff. Your meteorologist normally tells you when that stuff is coming, so you know what to expect. Earthquakes are just something that just happens. 1 minute, everything's cool. Next minute, the damn ground feels like it's about to break apart. You about to see what hell looks like up close and personal or some shit. I know, man, it's rough and it's scary. But again, I don't want you to be shook from coming to the Philippines, period, because this is not something that is a regular, everyday occurrence. I mean, it happens every now and again, and I just want you to be on the up and up that this is something that's for real. I mean, it shouldn't deter you, but sometimes natural disasters do deter individuals from coming, to the Philippines. And I do hope my people are safe out there. My fellow brethren in the Jensen, Digos, Bansalan, Tagum, Panabo, Mati areas, the surrounding areas of Davao City. I pray that they're safe. You understand? Because this ain't nothing to play with, guys. This is real. This is really happening. And it's definitely something that is real. Like I said, I can't sugarcoat it any better than that. My man Jared said a 5-minute earthquake. Can you imagine how strong? I mean, can you imagine how people felt during those 5 minutes? They probably felt like the world was literally coming to an end, guys. And that's some true realness right there. And what I've noticed in the moment, even me, like when I don't know what's going on, it's not that I panic, but when I don't know what the hell I'm doing or what to do, I don't know, man. I'm like trying to figure out what's going on, no different than everybody else. My people always say, man, when you see a crowd of people running, you run with the crowd and ask questions later. you don't go to seek what's going on. You'll find out about it after it's all said and done, when everybody's in a safe place. So, but with an earthquake, you kind of feel the ground shaking a little bit, and then things seem to naturally develop after that. But I just want you guys to know, man, you have to be on your P's and Q's. Again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you this stuff happens on the regular, but you definitely have to be on your P's and Q's. My man Robert Morris was good with you, man. My boy Reggie Dallas. You're there in 2 weeks. Hopefully one of the areas you plan to come to wasn't hit too hard with the earthquake, for sure. There you go. My Paul Revere, the redcoats are coming, the British are coming. There you go. I don't remember what he said. Anna, how you doing, baby? Thank you for coming through, and thank you, and welcome to the Dr. Mike TV channel. Please don't watch any of my other live streams because that's the shit that gets me in trouble. But welcome to the channel, and hope you enjoy the chat. Anything that you can add about the earthquake, if you felt it, what did you feel when the earthquake hit? I would love to hear it. My man Elgo says, since the Philippines are on this ring of fire, are condos and high rises built to earthquake codes like in California? You know what, Elgos, you bring up a great question. The only thing that I could tell you honestly is they must be. They must be. Most of them are. And the reason that I say that is because I've never heard of condos collapsing over an earthquake. I'm not saying that it's never happened, but I've never heard of it happening. Some condos, maybe those that are on the rise, maybe those that are not completely built yet, yeah, maybe those might fall down. I don't know. But I do believe that they're built up to code, because as many earthquakes as I've been through in the Philippines, I've never really come across any of them that have, any news talking about condos collapsing, killing a bunch of people. So I assume that they are built for that. Like I said, I'm scared though, man. When you feel that building swaying back and forth, I know that they built it to give in to what they like to call wind resistance or something like that. Like condos and stuff are built, and taller buildings more specifically, are built to sway with the wind a little bit. That way it has a little bit of give, and like it's not sturdy and straight up just in case it needs to bend or fold just a little bit to go with whatever is happening in the moment. So I've heard. And I can only assume. Maybe you guys know a little bit more than me, but yeah. I assume that fellow traveler, you're probably right. There's probably no coding, but I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm not going to say that it's built up to like a code, but they're built for these particular natural disasters. Now, I'm not sure what kind of permits or things like that they have to go through to build a condo. That is something I'm not familiar with. I'm not going to sit there and act like I am. But I can only assume that since I've never heard of collapsing condos due to natural disasters, that, I'm going to say yes, that they are built to a certain standard to basically be able to withstand, particular natural disasters such as the earthquake is. Shout out to my boy Trent Knight. I see you, Thomas Love. Much love. Essential Classics was good with you. John Chance, my man, Mr. Smith says, I got pulled over yesterday for coding. We settled the violation on the spot for $2,000. You gotta love the traffic coding, man. Were you driving with on the wrong day of your plate? Because usually, isn't it like odds and evens? In Davao City, they don't have that shit, and in the Philippines, I don't drive. But yeah. In Manila, for sure, if you guys are driving, they have the coding where you can only drive odds and evens based on the last number of your license plate or something like that. That's what I thought it used to be. Probably still the same. I don't drive in Manila because Manila traffic is ridiculous. And yeah, I don't really know the code either. But again, guys, man, just another thing for foreigners to be prepared for, man. Damn. I'm just telling you, kid. I don't know how to think about this. I don't know how to feel about it. Like I said, is this something that's going to deter a lot of foreigners from coming? Probably not, because it's few and far between that these situations actually happen. But I'm not going to sit here and act like it's something for you to overlook and don't think for 1 second it's not going to happen to you, or that if something like this does happen, that you will not be affected. Dozens of people were injured because of falling shit. Can you imagine if you're in the center of a mall and you're trying to run to get out of that mall? You're going to act like a falling chandelier ain't going to take you out, or like falling debris, or like crumbling, I don't know, cinder blocks or whatever it may be, depending on how steady the structure is. You're going to sit here and honestly tell me that that's not going to affect you in any way, shape, or form? Of course it will. And you never know where you're going to be when this happens. There are videos online. I didn't get a video when it happened because in the moment, that's the last thing I'm worried about. You can see glass shattering inside of malls and stuff like that. You can Google this stuff. I'll try to see if I can come up with some videos for you guys to see after this. I'm going to see if I can come across anything that shows any aftermath or effects of what was happening in the mall when it happened. I was at home, so I don't have to worry about that. But I'm just saying, I want you guys to be as prepared as humanly possible. I want you guys to know about everything that's happening. Because this is real. This is something that could affect all of us in one way, shape, or form. Fellow traveler says Chinese rebar is not California approved building code. I don't think it is either, but what I've noticed, it holds. It may not be what you want it to be, but the shit holds. Apparently, it does its job. It's crazy to think, but apparently it does. So, man, anti-gravity says Dr. Mike, you all good? Yeah, we good here, man. The earthquake. No, we felt the earthquake. It's just that it was when it happened where I was, you could feel the shift, but I wasn't in a place or anything like that, like a mall or anything like that. So that was lucky. That's all I can say. I was just lucky that I wasn't in a place where I couldn't get out if I needed to. Because I felt bad for the people who were in these buildings with shit falling and debris, just fucking some shit up. Because you never know the thing is, you never know how you're going to react when that particular situation happens to you. Can't tell me you're not going to feel some type of fear. Can't tell me that you're not going to do maybe have a panic moment. You just can't tell me that. I mean, I know you want to believe that you got your shit together, but you can't tell me that way, or that you might be shook about it. Because I know I would. 100%. 100%. And, in situations where you have a young lady with you, no different than me having my lady with me, I have too much shit to worry about. You understand? That's what really pisses me off most. Because if it happens, my first thought is, oh shit, let me make sure my girl is good. Then I got to make sure I grab everything that I want to take out with me, because I don't want my passport and all of my other stuff getting lost in the rubble, which is why I keep my bag packed all the time. I keep my bag packed a lot. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. I got to check something. But anyways, like I said, I keep my bag packed all the time. All the time. So just in case shit happen, I'm ready to run at a moment's notice. So I kind of feel like that's the best way to keep it. I mean, that's just a frame of mind that I hold sometimes. Like whenever, just to sum it up, because I know I'm repeating myself. I'm sorry, but whenever I was reading something and trying to talk to y'all at the same time, whenever I'm done with my laptop, I don't leave it out. I pack everything up. I put it in my bag, so just in case I gotta grab it and run for some god awful reason. I don't know why I think like this. That's just what I do. But I pack my bag up. All my electronics, everything that's important, my microphone. I pack it up. Make sure it's in my bag. Whenever I need it, I unpack it. I'll set it up, put it back up, just in case. And so that I don't have to worry about anything in case I got to pick up and go. I mean, I'm not running from the law or anything, but might be trying to outrun an earthquake. Never know. Might be trying to outrun a hurricane or a typhoon. You never know. So I don't want to have to worry about anything but making sure my girl is good too. And that's the worst right there. When you have to worry about somebody other than yourself, Jesus Christ, man. That makes the situation even worse. If you're by yourself, it's easy, man. You take care of you. But when you got to worry about you and yours, it's a headache, and it's a scary thing. That's the only thing I can tell you. Dealing with earthquakes in the Philippines when the building feels like the damn thing's about to fall apart, nobody can tell me otherwise, man. That should have you shook. You'll be glad and blessed that you made it out alive, but in the moment, you don't know what's going to happen. Imagine that thing lasting 5 minutes. You don't know what's going to happen in the 5 minutes. I don't wish that on my worst enemy, guys. But yeah, anti-gravity, we good though. My man says, are you in Davao now or Manila? You felt the earthquake and the aftershocks. Yeah. The earthquakes and the aftershocks. Because I mean, the shit was felt all over the Philippines, guys. That's what you need to understand. The shit was felt all over the Philippines. Because it actually, time out. Let me give you something real quick. Because it says here, if you Google earthquake in the Philippines, it says that if the top of the page, it says magnitude 6.4 earthquake affected countries, Indonesia, Philippines, and Malaysia. So you can only imagine that these three particular countries were hit, or these three particular countries felt the earthquake. You feel me? So You guys gotta be on your P's and Q's, man, because you'll feel that at any time, any given moment. So that's all I want to tell you guys, man. I mean, I really don't have anything else to add to it. I think I've said everything that could be said, but the aftershock is really what's scaring people right now. I seen people sleep. I mean, there was in California. Remember California? What was that, last year when they had their little earthquakes? Not little, I'm sorry, but when they had their earthquakes, you remember people on TV talk about how they slept outside because they didn't know if it was going to come back or what was happening with the aftershocks or anything. And I think that was about a 7.2 to that effect. Imagine in the Philippines where houses are not built to code or built to standard, my friends. It's not. It's just some hollow blocks slapped together in most houses or made out of some bamboo, some trees and shit, and some leaves. Imagine that's what your house is made out of. And everything in it gonna collapse at a moment's notice with these aftershocks. So I was never surprised to see people sleeping outside of their houses either. This is what I seen through post online, social media. I didn't see this personally, but through social media, I did see people sleeping outside and stuff like that because they were afraid to go back inside the house. So it's a whole hell of an issue, man. All I can tell you. Trent Knight, are you talking about the couple that was kidnapped in Zamboanga? Yeah, we did a video on that one about a week or so ago. Yeah, that British couple, his Filipino wife and whatnot. Yeah, we did that. Yeah, she people got met. Somebody had, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into it, but yeah, it was rough. It was a rough one. John says, what preparations made there for an earthquake? I lived in the Bay Area and felt it all the time in Cali. If you're asking me what is the protocol for evacuation in the Philippines, to be honest with you, I've never heard anybody talk about evacuation protocols ever. I have never in a million years, since I lived in the Philippines for 10 years, at least 10 to 11 years, I've never heard of an evacuation or a protocol for hurricanes or earthquakes or typhoons. Kind of like every person for themselves, if you ask me. There are no shelters. There are no safe places to run. I think you should prepare yourself a safe space just in case, but those places don't exist, guys. It's like every person for themselves. And I think that now that the earthquakes are literally destroying buildings and all of that stuff, there needs to be something for people to be able to rely on. There needs to be something that people can rely on when it comes to dealing with, natural disasters such as the earthquakes that are happening in the Philippines right now. Yeah, California, in most places they have like shelters or places you could go should you need to evacuate, etc., etc. Where are you gonna go in the Philippines, guys? Tell me, where are you gonna go if an earthquake hits in the Philippines? They're not, as far as I know, they're not listed anywhere. So you don't know. You don't know where to go. I'm telling you, there is no evacuation plan that I'm familiar with. Let me make that clear. There is no evacuation plan that I am personally familiar with. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that if you ask me, I've never seen one. I've never heard one announced. Because, I mean, they happen so infrequently. Or like I said, they happen so infrequently. It's not like it happens the same time every year. They happen so infrequently that you don't know exactly where to go. There's never been any updated plan that I'm familiar with. So, like I said, you got to know what to do just in case, you need to escape. And for the most part, I would probably be a little bit more scared when earthquakes hit the Metro Manila area because there's no place to hide. You're surrounded by tall buildings. Everywhere you're surrounded by tall buildings. I would probably lose my mind if an earthquake happened in the Metro Manila area. You guys know how stuff is built on top of each other in Manila. You've seen it for those that have been there. Can you imagine if an earthquake hit that was hard enough to split ground and, really start taking these buildings down? Can you imagine? Can you imagine the damage? Can you imagine the casualties? I don't even want to think about it. That's how scared I am of that ever happening in the Metro Manila area. Because there's no safe place to run there. You're surrounded by tall buildings. There's, at least in Davao City, the buildings are not really tall and they're not really on top of each other. So you might be able to find a safe place to get to. You can run to an open field where you don't have to worry about debris falling or anything like that. You know, but in Manila, you're just SOL, people. You are so out of luck. There's nothing you can do. In the Metro Manila area, bruh, my mind can't comprehend the types of casualties that could happen if an earthquake hit that was strong enough to really start taking down some buildings there. I don't even want to think about it. That's how scared I am of it. My man Pedro was good. He said they made us wait outside while they checked the condo building. Yes, thank God that you were able to get out, man. But I mean, they do want to check it for sturdiness. They can't send tenants back into the condo building knowing that there is a potential for that thing to collapse and fall apart, because then they have a lot of lawsuits on their hands. I'm not sure how many Filipinos would sue, but you know, they'll definitely have some lawsuits on their hand because of it. Scary fact, bro. It's some scary shit. It's some scary shit. My man Mr. Smith says, Doc, if ever a disaster happens where people are actually fighting for food and water, what do you think are the survival odds for a foreigner? The survival odds for a foreigner are slim to none. Filipinos, I love them to death. I'll tell you no lie. I love them to death. They're my second people. You know, after African Americans, of course, they're my people. But Filipinos are resourceful and Filipinos know how to survive. I've seen a person kill a chicken with his bare hands. You know, they on that survival ish, man. That's some stuff that, you know, me being a city boy, I'm not really a city boy, but you know, me living where I lived, and I didn't have to live off the land, and I didn't have to live off out of the jungle or like, you know, go hunt and do all that other stuff to get my food. I think Filipinos, I'm not saying that they do that. Let me make sure that I say that. I'm not saying that they do that, but Filipinos are very resourceful. They'll out-survive the foreigner in a heartbeat. Hopefully, you'll be lucky enough for one of them to adopt you and say, you know what, you can stay with us. You know, you could be with us. You know, we'll take care of you. And your average Filipino, they're definitely going to take care of you. I mean, you know, they'll look out for the foreigner man. But I'm telling you, push come to shove, I don't put my money on the foreigner at all. To survive in the Philippines against a Filipino, I don't put no money on no foreigner to survive, because Filipinos know their landscape, man. And a lot of these guys, they're very crafty. They're very skillful with their hands. So I'm talking about these people probably know how to make fires. They could probably build them a shack literally out of twigs and leaves and branches and shit, because they've done it before. And I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. I'm saying that in a way to give credit where credit is due, that Filipino people are probably one of the more resourceful people I've ever seen in my life. I've seen how they repair tires. I've seen how they fix stuff. I've seen a Filipino come to my house and fix my plumbing with minimal tools. I mean, these people know exactly what they're doing. So, like I said, I don't put no money on foreigners to survive. I don't put my money on a foreigner to survive against the Filipinos. Shout out to my boy Danny. Danny said that you were near the epicenter. People were panicking last night. I have to run and help another white guy. I'm telling you, man, that shit is scary. It's scary, man. I mean, panicking is literally the operative word to use in this situation. Panicking was literally what everybody was doing. That is exactly what they were doing. Because I don't think anybody has it in them to think straight when an earthquake hits. There is no plan for that. I'm telling you, at least if there's a typhoon coming, you could prepare for it in advance. Okay, it's going to hit Davao. Shoot, I think it might be time for us to take a vacation somewhere else. I know it's coming in the next couple of days or so. So let me take myself out of the equation, put myself in a safer place where it's not supposed to hit. You know, and maybe I give myself a chance of not having to deal with any types of bad weather. Same rules don't apply with the earthquakes, man. They sneak up on you. Earthquakes are the sneakiest natural disasters I've ever seen in my whole entire life. They are the sneakiest natural disasters on Earth. You never know when they're coming, but when they come, they cause damage, man. I've seen buildings collapse right in front of me before. Not collapse all the way, but I've seen buildings like shake, and then like pieces of it fall off. I can't even think about it, man. It's hard for me to even fathom that stuff. Elgo says, if buildings are collapsing, take your butt to the U.S. Embassy and get out of the violence disease. Use that passport. Yeah, I mean, if you can escape, of course. If escaping is an option, please get out of town. I would encourage everybody to do that. But heaven forbid that's not one of your options. If it wasn't one of your options, I'm putting my money on the Filipino every single time. My man Trent Knight says, Dr. Mike, did you hear about that? He said, Dr. Mike, you heard about that 4 days ago, but didn't hear you answer. You didn't hear my answer to that? Hold on. Maybe we're talking about two different kidnappings, but hold on. Let me go to my videos. I got to go to my stash, and I'll put the link in here. I would tell somebody else to do it, but I think it's probably in my best interest to do it on my own. But guys, I see we have about 26 watching. I appreciate all 26 of y'all coming through and showing love to the good doc. Y'all know what to do. Guys, make sure you caress, molest, and de-stress yourself all over that like button. It wants it. It needs it. It most definitely has to have it. If you guys feel the need and the urge to support the good doc, please feel free to do so. But of course, he is happy that you come through, spend just a little bit of time with him today. Now you're in den. We're having fun, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying this particular live stream. I know it's a little bit different from my normal topics because, Doc likes to flex his muscle just a little bit. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm very confident in my topics when I talk about, dealing with Filipino issues and scamming issues, because those videos normally do well. That's what people want to hear about. I mean, let's be honest with one another. But from time to time, I think that we need to have a PSA, a public service announcement type live stream. It keeps everybody informed about things that they may not take into consideration. And as a man, I'm no different than anybody else. I just want to see my people safe, man. I have got to be able to see my people safe. And I know that natural disasters such as this one will definitely deter and scare some people away. But I'm trying to tell you, don't let it be the know all be all. That is the link. Hey, my man Trent, you see that link I just posted? That's the link that I covered in reference to the kidnapping story that I covered that like the day my pops told me about that story. And when I saw it, I said, I got to do it. Foreigner Reacts videos are awesome. Y'all make sure y'all check out this newer series that I'm trying to create for you guys called the Foreigner Reacts. If there's a new story that comes up that I think is awesome or something that I think you guys might be interested or intrigued in hearing, I definitely want to react to it from a foreigner's perspective and, tell you guys how I feel about it. And that's it. I think we got 3 videos in that series, or maybe 4 now. I can't remember. The first one was about that lady who smuggled that baby through the airport in a bag and almost got on a plane. The second one was this kidnapping one. The third one, I think, was the Taiwanese girl in Boracay. That video actually did extremely well, a little bit better than I expected it to, but I kind of felt like everybody was intrigued by that story. And then if you read the comment section, people were really going at it. People were like, oh, ain't nobody jealous of that girl. How dare you say that just to get views? I mean, I didn't even say that until like the last part of the video. So you had to listen through all the way to the end of the video to hear me say that particular part of the video. But people were happy. Yo, go to the comment section, man. You'll see people were definitely commenting on it. And I just thought, hell, man, that was worth it, man. That shit was worth it. But yeah. Again, guys, you got to be on your P's and Q's in the Philippines, man. You never know what is going to happen when it happens. And sometimes when it happens, it's too late, man. What can you do about it then when it's happening in the moment? Like I said, you guys think I'm playing. You guys think I'm joking. I pack my bag every night. Every night before I go to bed, I pack my bag. And I'm not talking about with clothes and stuff. I mean, hell, if I have to go outside butt-ass naked to save my life, so be it. But I'm going to be butt-ass naked with my backpack, my laptop, my microphone, and my passport, and all the money that I have on me, and we're going to be good to go. You understand? So I'm not going to take an L on anything that I value. I'm not going to watch a whole building collapse with my stuff in there. I could buy new clothes, man. Clothes can be replaced. But my passport and all of the above, nah, not comfortable with that. Danny, be safe, my brother. Be safe, man. There was a new quake last night. Just be safe, man. What's going on, Melvin? Appreciate you coming through, showing love all the way from Seattle. Appreciate you coming through. He says prayers for the people and blessings and safety. Take care of each other. That is one thing that I can't say about Filipino people, man. I can honestly say it. And I think I honestly believe that this is true for most people when natural disasters like this hit. People are really, really good about looking out for their neighbors and stuff. I really do see that. You see the camaraderie when things like this happen. Even though people are panicking and losing their mind, people are knocking on doors, telling people, get up, get up. Well, we got to go. We got to go. There are people trying to warn others. There are people helping people get out of their houses. Anything, you name it, man. People are on their P's and Q's about this. And I respect it. I respect it so much because a lot of people are in this world, and a lot of people in the world today are pretty much that I'm going to go for myself, man, forget everybody else. And I'm good. Like I said, I'm not going to lie. I ain't gonna front. The only thing that is on my mind when natural disasters like this hit, my lady and myself. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. But if I see somebody who is in need of some help, don't think for 1 second that I'm not gonna stop to try my best to help them. All right. And I think that when shit like this happens, it does bring people together. So in all realness, I have nothing but respect for people who go out there and really, would be willing to risk their lives to help their neighbors and stuff like that. And when you see that, shit make you get all teary-eyed and shit, because there is hope for humanity yet. You understand? At times I felt like humanity is hopeless, man. With the stuff that we deal with and everything that's going on in the world today, you kind of look at humanity like, man, I don't know if these people are just for self or whatever it may be. But in hindsight, when it comes down to it and you start to see people come together when people really need to come together the most, ain't nothing you could do but sit there and just say, wow, man, this is real shit. Because even if I don't know you, but you willing to help me in a situation, like, I swear, you don't know me from you don't know me from nobody, but you willing to stop and see if I need some help or whatever it may be in the situation or whatever the situation calls for. Come on, man. There's nothing I can have but respect for people in that situation. So same rules apply, man. Melvin, you're right, man. This quake was definitely a wake-up call, man. It was definitely a wake-up call for everybody. Will there be a disaster plan made? I'm not going to go out on a limb and say yes. I think people will probably be a little bit more, how can I say this? They'll be a little bit more alert now on what to do should this happen again. Now that it's happened and people can see what could happen if you're not prepared for it, I think people will naturally prepare for themselves. But I'm not going to sit there and believe that the government is going to come up with an evacuation plan or whatever it may be for earthquakes, because like I said, when earthquakes come, they come so fast, there is no plan for that. You don't see them coming, like I said, it's not like the meteorologists who can predict typhoons and hurricanes. You can see them coming from a mile away. Those typhoons and hurricanes form over water and wind and all that stuff. Shit start to blow. You could be prepared for that. You could be like, it's time for me to go then. Not with earthquakes, people. Not with that shit. So, with that being said, man, you got to be prepared for yourself. You understand? I hope y'all are getting the likes up. I can't even see what my likes are on this video. Somebody give me a like to dislike counter, please. That would make me happy. Shout out to my boy Travel Squad in the building. What's good with you? My CJ, what's going on? He says, hey, Doc, I'm currently in Cebu at the tallest condo here on the 49th floor. I'm feeling very antsy now. I have been here about 2 weeks, and there have been 3 quakes around the Philippines since being here. I'm not gonna lie, man. I feel you. I know exactly how you feel. Being that high up and not being able to, get down and get out if you need to. It's a hard pill to swallow, man. I don't know how much money you put into whether it's an Airbnb or whatever you're doing in the moment. I don't know if you can find a way to get out, if you can, or if you really care to at the moment. I know it might cost you a little money, but I would downsize to something a little bit smaller, something, or get on something that's on a lower floor. I know it sounds like a bit dramatic, but if you're feeling that antsiness like I would just shift spaces. Like I said, the buildings in Davao City are not tall at all. So like I said, when I experienced the earthquake last year, I think I was just on the 7th floor. So for me to get out and get down a flight of stairs real quick and get out, it wouldn't be hard for me to do that. But on the 49th floor, bro, when those elevators ain't working, ooh, that's a nightmare. That's a nightmare in itself. Don't let me scare you, though. Please don't let me scare you. I just want to give you what I feel to be real, man. That's all I could ever tell you. Travel Squad says, where would you run during an earthquake besides outside? There is really no safe place to run. Um, well, damn. Um, I don't know. If you're in a condo, it's rough. It's a lot rougher in condos because you got to understand that there are going to be people underneath you and there are going to be people above you. If you were in a house or a property, that's different. Now you have places you can run and hide inside of a house. The craziest thing, well, yeah, if I actually had to hide in my own house, I would hate to have to hide in this place because I'm claustrophobic. But underneath the stairs, like in our house, there was this little storage shed that my dad had built. And I mean, it's small, man. It was just enough to store some like trinkets, like tools and whatnot. It's just this little cabinet. But if I had to run to a safe place and hide, that would be where I would hide. So I would like people. Don't they tell you to go in like bathtubs and stuff? I don't know. Like shit. I think that's what they tell you. I don't know. But like I said, in condos it's a little bit different. In condos, I would just take my chances and get out. Because if the condo falls apart, things above you and things below you are still going to get, going to become collateral damage. So you can either be a part of that damage or you can go out there and save yourself. But in a house is a little bit different. There are places for you to hide inside your house. Like I said, we have this little storage thing underneath our house. It's small, man, and I'm claustrophobic, and it smelled like pine saw. It stunk down there. But if I had to and I had no choice, that's where I would hide. Unfortunately, there's no way out, man. There's no way out. Like once you're in there, you're in there. You might be able to protect yourself. Heaven forbid something falls in front of the door or whatever. You're just stuck in there, and all you could do is pray and hope to God that somebody comes looking for you. That's the fear right there. That's the truth. If you do happen to find yourself in a situation like this, now you're in a situation where, okay, I protected myself. I survived this thing. At least I think so. But now I have to wait for somebody to come and actually rescue me. Jesus Christ. Now you have to wait for somebody to come and rescue you. Damn. It's a hard pill to swallow, man. Sometimes it's a lose-lose situation, or win-lose, however you see it. I think that if you're able to survive, it's a blessing, my friends. That's the best way to look at it. Even if you lost it all, man, that is still a blessing. My man Trent Knight says, Dr. Mike ain't never been in an earthquake, but have been in tornadoes or hurricanes in the South. In the South, they don't get earthquakes. Yeah, like I said, in North Carolina, I never had an earthquake, bro. I lived in North Carolina. I ain't never seen an earthquake a day in my life. But when I came to the Philippines, since I've been in the Philippines, it's been about at least five that I could actually feel. I'm not saying 5 that have been in the country over the last 10 to 11 years I was in the country. It's 5 that I've actually felt that were serious. Yeah, I felt a couple of tremors every now and again, but I don't really count those as earthquakes. You can call them that, but I mean 5 serious ones where I can see buildings and all kinds of stuff shaking. Personal ones that I've been in, yeah. Tommy, as long as that table is sturdy, yeah, I would hide under a table too, man. Standing in doorways may be your safer bet too. I'm just telling you, man. Like I said, in houses, you're good. In condos, you just got to go for broke, man, and get out. That's all I'm going to say. CJ, you're definitely concerned. I'm going to check out a different location. Losing money versus losing my life equals no contest. I agree 100%, man. Like I say, I try to keep people, within a budget, making sure they don't blow the budget, moving around a lot. But like you said, man, my life means more to me than anything in this world. Losing a little bit of cash because I need to move, so be it. But these earthquakes ain't nothing to play with. And now that they're happening frequently, you said that there were 3 in Cebu or 3 in the Philippines, and you're afraid that it could actually happen in Cebu. Just something you're gonna have to take care of on your own, man. You have to, you gotta do what you gotta do, family. And whichever way you choose, I would not blame you, bro. Whichever way you choose to go, wouldn't blame you one bit. All right, guys, I'm looking at my numbers. 27 watching, 26 likes. I could fucks with that. That's good. Well, I appreciate you guys coming through and spending some time with me today. I know I talked a lot, but this one is definitely a serious situation. Don't care how you split it, man. I don't care how you split it. This is something that you do not take lightly. Something I don't take lightly. You know, I think that we all have it in ourselves to be how can I say this? We have to have it in ourselves to be, diligent in the way in which we choose to navigate our way around the country, and be in prepared, be in preparedness, whatever that word is. You got to make sure you stay prepped. So now that you guys have been through the earthquake, now that you know that it exists, now that you know that it happens, just make sure you have a plan. I don't believe in staying in tall buildings anymore. Like I said, yeah, the views are nice, but yeah, that shit got me feeling a certain kind of way now. And I think that it's really changing the narrative for you guys as well. SML says there was an earthquake in NC a few years back. I thought a dump truck was diving. A dump truck was driving, but it was really a small one all the way up to VA. I didn't even hear about that one. I know I was going then, probably. John says, are the buildings built well for foreigners? Are the buildings built well where foreigners live in Cebu or Davao? Yes, I'll say it again. I do believe that Philippine buildings are very well built. I've never in a million years heard of a building collapsing due to earthquakes, like condos for sure. I've never heard of condos. I'm not saying that they haven't, but personally, I cannot remember of a story or a headline wherein condos literally fell apart due to the fact that an earthquake hit. So I believe that they are built very sturdy. Are they up to code? I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know about being up to code, but all I know is that they're definitely built very sturdy because earthquakes have hit, buildings have shaked a little bit, and I think, like I said, they're built to counteract or to resist these natural disasters, hurricanes, and all of that stuff, wind blowing the buildings and whatnot, heavy winds and earthquakes. I think they're built to sway enough to counteract the magnitude of the earthquake per se, whatever it may be. They're built that way, and I think when they build them as high as they do, I think that's some real shit right there. I've never heard of buildings collapsing because of it, but you guys let me know. I don't know. I could be wrong. My man John Chen says, which social media account most likely would a Filipina have to talk with a foreigner back in the USA? How do foreigners talk to their Filipinos from the USA? Facebook Messenger all the way. Facebook Messenger, Facebook Messenger, Facebook Messenger, Facebook Messenger, Facebook Messenger. All Filipinos have Facebook because Facebook is free in the Philippines, okay? If you come across a Filipina that says she doesn't have a Facebook, I would literally look at her like she done lost her mind. I'm not saying that she's lying. I'm just saying that it's hard for me to believe that a Filipina doesn't have a Facebook account at all. Almost impossible, almost impossible for a Filipina to sit there and tell me that she doesn't have a Facebook. So the way that they keep in touch, most parts, Facebook Messenger, mostly. Like I said, WhatsApp, Skype, all of that stuff, you can ask her to get that and she'll get it. But most of the time, Facebook Messenger is the easiest way to communicate. Email, probably not always going to work. Frederick Mason says, bathtub in a hallway or under a desk or table. Some of that is for tornadoes as well. Yeah, most of the disaster preparedness situations, they kind of, the same rules apply for a lot of different natural disasters, typhoons, hurricanes, tornadoes, you name it. And like I said, I kind of feel like, being in a condo, it does shift it just a little bit. I think that in condos, it's a little bit rougher because limited places for you to hide and the potential for that building to collapse on top of you if you're on the lower levels, or for the building to collapse when you're on higher levels. You have to really, really, really be careful. Either way you slice it, my friends, you have to figure out what works best for you. If you can get out, get out. Okay. If you can't, I don't know, man. You got to find you a place to hide. You should know that in advance now. Now that it's happened, now that you're planning your trip to the Philippines, now that you're thinking about it in hindsight, find you a place that you would hide just in case shit happens, okay? That's the best way for me to put it. Eyes On says, if I'm not mistaken, Japan builds a lot of the Philippine buildings, so the buildings sway side to side. And I think that that's cool. I like the fact that they sway a little bit. I think that it's giving in to the pressure of the wind and all of that stuff, earthquake magnitudeism and all that good stuff. That's what I think it's for. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's just what I personally feel. And you might be right. The Japanese may be building a lot of these buildings. I have no idea. Shout out to Rain Man. What's good with you, bro? It's okay that you're late to the show, man. We were just talking about, the earthquake situation in the Philippines, how it really did bring a lot of people together. Number two, how because there is no real evacuation plan for earthquakes, how foreigners in general need to be prepared for things like this. This shit is for real, for real. And they ain't playing, people. They are not playing. But guys, that's all I really wanted to talk to you. Yes, Rain Man, I did feel it, man. I'm telling you, it's the scariest thing. I don't like earthquakes, man. Luckily for me, I wasn't in a tall building. I wasn't inside of the mall or anything like that. Rain Man, outside of Davao. I'm not in Davao City. But yeah, it's nothing to play with, guys. It's nothing to play with. I know Danny was on earlier, man. I wish I would have put Danny on for a split second, but he said he had to go. But he was in Davao City. He said he felt it the roughest. Like, he said that he had to go help his neighbors too. And like I said, man, that's just something that, really does bring a tear to my eye. It makes me all emotional and shit to see people come together and all that good stuff, man. I mean, that's just what you hope people would do in a time like this. There in times when you believe that people are only out for self, to see people come together and do all of that stuff, man, that's just something that that's just something that it's good to see that. It makes me happy to see it. So like I said, guys, man, I'm pretty much done with this one, man. Unless you guys have anything else to add, I'm pretty much finito with this one. But, I'm going to get my shout outs real quick. Yeah, Jensen did have it worse. I know my man, Mr. Smith, in the chat said he was going to go check on family out there. Him and his wife, they're going to check on the family out there. So, again, like I said, a lot of people lost power. A lot of areas lost power and all of that stuff. So, when the communications are down and you don't know how to get in touch with people, no scarier feeling in the world, man. My man John says, I would imagine hotels would be built well. When was the last worst earthquake in the Philippines? How much damage did it cause? I can't remember the last. Hold on. This one was 6.4. I'm going to Google and see. Let me do Google real quick. Worst. I want to say it was in the 1990s. In the article that I wrote, and the article that I read earlier, if you guys want to click on the link that I posted earlier, it said that it was in the 1990s. I'm going to type in worst earthquake in Philippine history, and I'll see what comes up. The worst earthquake, or the strongest earthquakes, the top 5 strongest, dang it, let me get this right. The top 5 strongest earthquakes that caused the major destruction in the Philippines. There was an earthquake in Bohol in 2013. There was an earthquake in Mindoro that was in 1994. There was one in Casiguran, I'm sorry, in 1968. The one in Luzon in 1990, and then the Moro Gulf was 1976. So there was an earthquake in 2013 in Bohol that seemed to cause the most damage. So, damn, that was just what? That was only like 6 years ago. So that's just something to think about, guys. I mean, like I said, I will never say anything to deter you from coming to the Philippines at all. But I would be a fool not to tell you that you got to be prepared for natural disasters too. And again, as foreigners, when we travel, tell me how many people actually worry themselves with natural disasters. Yeah, we try to avoid the rainy season in the Philippines because we know there's a potential for flooding and a potential for it to ruin our vacation by allowing us not to be able to go out as often as we want to. Yeah, we know that. That's why we avoid coming around those particular seasons if we can, even though the tickets are a little bit cheaper to fly around September, October, November. Just a little FYI in case you guys are looking to travel. Those are when tickets are normally cheaper. But in hindsight, thinking out loud, thinking, as I sit here and talk to you guys, how many of us prepare for earthquakes? How many of us prepare? We prepare for everything else. We prepare our BOOTYLOO fund for all the fun we gonna have. We prepare everything that we possibly can. But how many of us are actually prepared for the earthquakes, man? I know I'm not. I'm telling you right now, that would be the last thing on my mind. That would be the last thing that I'm ever worried about. But I tell you right now, I pack my bags, bro. That's what I do. Pack my bag, and I said, if shit hits the fan and I got to get up and go, I go. And I learned that, I used to keep my laptop open, especially when I'm comfortable, keep my laptop open, spread out on the table. So if I want to go click the live button and come talk to you guys, I could do that. Nowadays, I just break down the microphone system, the whole nine, and I'm just ready to go just in case shit hit the fan. Because shit is likely to hit the fan. What you going to do when that happens? So just a little food for thought that I'm going to leave you with before I leave you guys. If you guys have anything else to add, leave it down in the chat. If I forget your name, leave it down in the chat. I'll make sure that I shout you out and make sure that I touch you in the most inappropriate way humanly possible. All right. Like I say, 23 watching. I appreciate you guys getting the likes on your way in or on your way out. Thank you guys for spending your time with me today. You could have been anywhere in the world today, but you chose to spend a little bit of time with the good doc, and I am forever grateful because of it. All right. So, eyes on with the last comment. I'm still moving to the Philippines. Happiest time of my life was when I was in the Philippines. Like I said, I think that's a happier time for all of us guys. All right. So let me get my shout outs out. Like I said, if you want to shout out and you didn't leave your name in the chat or you didn't participate, but you still want to hear the good doc say your name, say my name, say my name. Remember the old Destiny Child song? If you still want the good doc to say your name, by all means, leave it in the chat, man. I'll make sure I take care of that. All right. So eyes on, much love to you, boy. My boy Rain, man, you was late, but you be all right. John Chance, much love to you, my family. SML, I appreciate y'all coming through. Frederick Mason from the great state of North Carolina, was good with you, my G. Appreciate you being here and spending time with the good doc. Trent Knight, as always, I know you're a Duke fan. I'm pretty sure you're happy about the way your boy is performing in the NBA right now. Shout out to Zion Williamson. I'm not big on basketball. I'm going to let that one go. CJ Worldwide, much love to you. Tommy's Philippine Journey. Appreciate you coming through and spending time. Travel Squad, always good to see you in the building. I'm glad that you were able to catch the live. These notifications, man, they are hit and miss, people. They are hit and miss. Melvin Den, appreciate you being here. Appreciate y'all showing love to the doc. Danny Gordon, I know you're not with us right now, but thank you for being here. El Ghost, appreciate you being here. Mr. Smith, I pray that you and the family out there, I pray that you and the wife are good, and I pray that her family in Jensen is just as well. Pedro, appreciate you being here. Fellow traveler, always good to be in the presence of a fellow traveler. Appreciate you being here. Anti-Gravity 74, my brother from another, aka the COO of the BOOTYLOO Incorporated. We got to bring that shit back. Essential Classics, man, appreciate you. Thomas Love, always a pleasure, my dude. Anna, appreciate you spending some time with us. I don't know how long you were here, but thank you for showing up. Jared is cool. Jared, you are cool in my book, my friend. Thank you for being here. NY Mets fan. 2006. Appreciate you being here. My boy Reggie Dallas, 2 weeks and counting, my friend. I hope that it is a trip well worth while. Robert Morris, always a pleasure. My boy Zay Baker III. I did get your email, family. I'm going to definitely read that as soon as I get out. Mr. Pissed Off Driver, I'm pretty sure that this wasn't a live stream to bring a smile to that face, but I hope that the other live streams will make you just a little less pissed off than you are before. All the good doc does is do enough to make people smile. My boy Tim H, Terry Edwards. Guys, always a pleasure to have you guys in the building, man. You guys make this fun for me. If you guys weren't here, Doc would be sitting here talking to himself. Although I'm good at doing that, like I could care less. Like I'll talk to myself if I got to. But gotta be prepared, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I can tell you. SML says Dr. Mike trying to keep us away from Davao by scaring us. Yep, don't come to Davao. Damn building's gonna collapse on your head and shit. You ready for that? You ready to die? Huh? You tell somebody that shit, they would probably freak out. Are you ready to die when you come to Davao? You better be ready. You better be prepared for that shit. Buildings gonna fall on your head, and if the buildings don't fall on your head, people go kidnap your ass. Are you ready for it? Yeah. I probably scared the hell out of some people on purpose, but y'all still gonna come anyways, and you'll still have a good time. Trent, he says lots of disasters in the Philippines surrounded by water, but I worry about that. Give it to God, take care of everything, my boy Dr. Mike. Yes, sir. Gotta leave it. I say let go and let God, man. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. My father told me the realest thing. He said, man, when it's your time, it's your time. Ain't nothing you can do about it but accept it. Truth be told, all you can do is accept it when it's your time. My dad used to work overseas in these danger prone areas. I'm talking about Baghdad when Baghdad was Baghdad. I'm talking about Iraq. I'm talking about these seriously dangerous places. And he used to tell me all the time, man, hell, if it's my time, when it's my time, it's my time. They didn't put God didn't punch his number yet. So hey, that's all I can say is you gotta let go and let God sometimes. All right. John Doe, what's good? You are true. It is true. Philippines is natural disaster area. Typhoons, volcanoes, you name it, it's gonna happen. But as a foreigner, I just feel like you gotta be prepared for that. You could be prepared for the women, you could be prepared for the scams, but you gotta be prepared for the natural disasters as well. SML, I know you still coming, and everybody else is probably still gonna come to the Philippines as well. And I'm gonna leave it on that note, ladies and gentlemen. It has been fun. It has been real. But of course, the good doc is happy. I'm sorry. I'm getting my tagline, my ad libs messed up. Oh, guys, don't forget, man. Friday, the Friday night free for all. I am not playing. If you guys didn't catch the post, Doc is gonna do the Friday night free for all. Wherein I'm gonna give you guys, I'm gonna come up with a topic. And I'm gonna bring some guys on to talk about the topic with me if they want to. We might set a time limit for it. Maybe a couple of, if we have a lot of people who want to come on. Again, it is first serve come, first serve. If we have a lot of people who want to be on, and basically I gotta give a time limit for people to come through and spend some time, just to give everybody a fair chance. So be it. But yes, guys, we're gonna do the Friday night free for all, man, and it is going to be awesome. All right. Let's get it all and let's have it all. Let's have fun. I hope you guys show up on Friday night. All right. Friday night about 8:30 or 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. All right. So make sure you guys are there. With that being said, the good doc is officially out. At least nakopa alam, which means I'm going now. Bye-bye. As always, love you guys. Mga kita. Mabuhay. Peace.